call a regular city commission meeting to order. Please rise. All right, pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the opportunity that we have together here this evening. Lord, we ask that you bless this city commission so that the decisions that we make are in the best interest of the citizens of Winter Garden. Lord, tonight we ask a special blessing on all of our first responders, particularly our police, for all that they do for us, Lord, in keeping our community safe, so that we can go outside and play and we do not worry about it. So Lord, please bless and keep them safe. Lord, please watch over us all and guide and bless us. For all these things we ask in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome all here this evening.
Thank you.
First on the agenda this evening is approval of minutes from the December the 9th meeting. They've been distributed. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, we need a motion. So moved. We have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye opposed. Motion carried unanimously. Presentation, American Legion. Mr. Kirk Geis. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Purpose tonight is to give you guys an update about our last Challenge 22 and brought some guests tonight. I've got Mike Winslow. Mike is a local business leader. He got involved in this back in 2017 when we first started. And then Austin Arthur with Gymnastics USA, and of course my wife is here with a lot of guys. But I want to show you a video that how this has grown. Austin and his company took it upon himself to develop this video for the Challenge 22 this year, and it just kind of shows you how community support has grown and grown.
In 2012, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs released a statement stating that, on average, 22 U.S. veterans pass away every single day in our country of suicide. Now, since that time, there have been many events and campaigns to help share awareness of this number and what it means and how we can help. One such event is here in our community. The American Legion Post 63 annually hosts the Challenge 22 Walk. It's a 2.2-mile walk and picnic to raise money and awareness in this event. The monies raised go to wonderful organizations that provide help and support to our veterans. Such organizations include Project Vet Relief and SOF Missions. Gymnastics USA is a sponsor of this event this year. We are an event partner with the American Legion. We need all of our families at Gymnastics USA to help support this event. Come with your families and join us on this walk. The 2.2-mile walk. After the walk, there's going to be a great celebration, a family picnic, lots of family fun, vendors, food trucks. Gymnastics USA will be there doing a ninja course for the kids and some other special surprises for you guys. So we really want you to join us. Another really cool thing is there's going to be 2 World War II veterans in attendance. And it's going to be their birthday celebrations at the event. One of them is turning 99 years old. The other is turning 100 years old. Many of our veterans suffer from PTS. Many of them end up committing suicide. Now, the reason why they have PTS is because of the service they provided us. They fought for our country. They fought for us. So they served us, and now we need to serve them. And this is a great opportunity to do it in a family function where we can get together as a community and raise awareness and money for our veterans who have served us and given us so much. So I'd like to see you there. Please be with us on November 13th at Veterans Park in the Winter Garden. West Orange, let's bless our veterans by helping our veterans. I hope to see you there November 13th.
And as a result of this video and the event itself, we have national coverage for the city of Winter Garden. So the other video I want to show you is we had our national media team come down from Indianapolis, and they produced a story. It was online, very long story, but this video kind of summarizes the event itself and what an amazing success it was.
U.S. veterans pass away.
Our comrades served, and when they decide that they want to take their life, somebody needs to be there to say, no, we're here for you. We love you, we support you, and your life is too important. Don't leave, because then the enemy wins. And so our lie is that this is an epidemic that nobody knows about, we have to stop it. So today is a Challenge 22 event that we started here in Florida about 5-6 years ago. I was new to the Winter Garden area. I was the post chaplain at the time. And I was given a note, and I don't remember where it came from. It said, hey, September Suicide Awareness Month, get a group of people together, walk for a walk, because we have 22 vets a day dying from post-traumatic stress. And as a retired naval officer and new to the area, I didn't know many people, but I also said, 22 a day? You need a month. And so I did the research on it, and obviously it is 22 a day, and it's a horrendous statistic. But I started thinking that if I don't know about it, how does the community know about it? And so, because of the short notice, I went out and walked by myself that day. There's a trail right here, we're gonna walk down the trail today. When you're walking alone, that is what suicide is all about. They're isolated, they're hopeless, they don't feel like they're worth it anymore. And we all know that that's not true, but because of what they're going through, they're not able to understand that, and they think that the only option is to take their life. So we created this event. The first day was in 2017. I went out to the national convention and in Reno, and I was talking to people about this statistic, and not many Legionnaires knew about it. There were some, but not many. So as time went by, we grew each year. We partnered with more and more folks. We continued to fundraise. This post of about 200 members in the last 5 years. Right now, we're at about $250,000 that we've raised through donations, in-kind services, and silent auction stuff that's been donated to us. Mr. Mayor and Commission, thank you for your support. I can tell you that the American Legion now is taking this on as a national program. Our national commander was installed in Phoenix, Arizona this year. His main emphasis is suicide prevention for PTS. And so we're starting to see these events pop up all over the country. And it started right here in Winter Garden. And it's the support that you guys have provided to us through the services you provide, giving us the use of the park, whatever it may be, whatever we need, you guys always say yes. And so we wanted to just publicly thank you, thank the city for the generous support, and ask for next year's, we have a thing on the agenda tonight for November 12th, which is Veterans Day weekend. We're actively pursuing this early so that because it's Veterans Day weekend, we want to become the event that everybody says, hey, I've already committed to Winter Garden, I can't do yours. So thank you for your support. That one of those 99-year-old veterans there, he had PTS until he was 97 years old. And the money that we've raised through this event paid for him to go through a therapy, and it was such a success that he got remarried about a year ago. He's actually now a believer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kurt. Thank you for all that you do for this, and I think we're all amazed. And first time I heard the number, you go, I can't think about it.
Well, and with what's happening in Afghanistan, the withdrawal and COVID, unfortunately, the dent that we were making, we're starting to see it spike back up a little bit, but the good news is that we now have resources to direct, not only through the government, but through local nonprofits, to get our veterans, our family members. We've worked with young girls and kids who've had parents that have passed away through suicide. Anybody that's affected by the trauma of a suicide can be helped, and we can do it virtually. So if you know of anybody, have them contact the American Legion. We can give them help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I do need to mention that for this meeting, we're going back to the GoToWebinar. So if you're using that, it is all in front of you on the screen. Please read it. If you have any issues, just 407-576-1792, and it will help you. Thank you.
Next, we have proclamation 22-101 for the National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Whereas the health and safety of all Winter Garden citizens is important to the happiness, prosperity, and well-being of our families and communities. And whereas the city of Winter Garden is the proud home of many law enforcement officers, and these officers stand as leaders educating the community about the importance of public safety. And whereas we appreciate the efforts and sacrifices made by officers and their family members on a daily basis in order to protect our schools, workplaces, roadways, homes, and visitors. And whereas on January the 9th, 2022, partnering organizations in support of law enforcement officers nationwide will promote a National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, LEAD. In light of recent negativity directed toward law enforcement nationally, there is a need to show law enforcement officers that our citizens recognize the difficult and sometimes impossible career they have chosen in public service to all of us. And whereas each day 800,000 police officers across our country put a badge on and go to work, knowing they may face extremely dangerous situations. On average per year, 160 officers die in the line of duty. 60,000 are assaulted in the line of duty. 18,000 officers are injured in the line of duty. And nearly 250 officers commit suicide. There is no other profession in the world except possibly the military where you will find these kind of statistics. And whereas law enforcement officers play such an integral part in our society, they are the guardians of our way of life, and they deserve our support. And therefore, it is my great pleasure and privilege as the mayor of the city of Winter Garden to declare January the 9th, 2022 as National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And I urge all citizens to join in supporting this initiative and take time not only on Sunday, January the 9th, 2022, but throughout the year to show their support of our law enforcement officers. Thank you, Chief.
I would just say, Mayor, that we appreciate the citizens. They support us quite a bit. We always get a pat on the back when we're walking through downtown. And our commission, they support us. Anytime I ask for something, you guys are right up front and we'll make it happen. So we appreciate your support as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If anybody else wants to say something? More than willing. Thank you.
All right. Go to work.
I'm okay with that. Can we get a motion to postpone this?
You went to 127 or 210? What's your preference?
The next meeting.
Next meeting, motion to propose ordinance 2201 for first reading on January 27th at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Now, we're about the end of it. We have to do it next meeting.
I think so, Mayor.
Okay. That's right.
So moved.
Okay. Ordinance 22-04.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 22-04. Would you like me also to
All
read
four,
the other
05,
three?
and 06.
Yes, 2205, an ordinance of the city of Winter Garden, Florida, amending the future land use map of the Winter Garden Comprehensive Plan by changing the land use designation of real property generally described as approximately 0.24 plus minus acres located at 1010 Vineland Road, east of Walker Street, west of Vineland Road, north of West Colonial Drive, and south of West Morgan Street, from Orange County low medium density residential to city residential neighborhood commercial, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. And ordinance 22-06, an ordinance of the city of Winter Garden, Florida, rezoning approximately 0.24 plus minus acres located at 1010 Vineland Road, east of Walker Street, west of Vineland Road, north of West Colonial Drive, and south of West Morgan Street, from Orange County R-2 residential district to city R-NC residential neighborhood commercial district, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a voluntary annexation of the property located at 1010 Vineland Road. Owners requesting annexation, designating the future land use designation of residential neighborhood commercial and zoning the property RNC. These are consistent with the surrounding area, and the owner intends to apply for a special exception, which will allow the office use, and then also apply for site plan review to develop the site with a parking lot and a pond if required. It will be small, much like the attorney's office that's in the little blue house, and similar to everything along that road. Staff will recommend approval of ordinance 22-04, 22-05, and 22-06. You have to answer questions.
Questions from the commission?
Consistent. I don't know if it's actually consistent. I know that to the south and to the east, there are similar buildings, but to the north and the west are residential. So I was concerned about encroachment of more businesses coming into the residential area.
So the future land use map all along Vineland Road already has RNC as the land use and the expected land use for long-term goals. It is not planned to go east or west, it is just that strip coming up the road.
So we'll limit it to that area?
Yes.
Okay, then I don't have a question, as long as it's limited to that place. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. This is a public hearing, so we will open if anyone wishes to speak. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. If there are no other questions, we need a motion.
Motion to approve ordinances 2204, 2205, and 2206. With the second reading on Thursday, January 27th at 6:30.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried unanimously. Regular business, recommendation to approve interlocal agreement between the city of Winter Garden and town of Oakland. Yes, sir.
This interlocal agreement between Winter Garden and the town of Oakland addresses jurisdictional boundaries. There is a portion of 2 lots and a portion of the right-of-way on the western edge of Oakland Park, where a small portion of those 2 lots is located in the town of Oakland, and the majority of the lot is in Winter Garden, and also a small section of the road is in the city of Winter Garden, while the majority of the road is in the town of Oakland. So this agreement transfers jurisdictional requirements for that small portion of those properties. It allows the city, or the town of Oakland has given the city of Winter Garden the rights for comprehensive planning, land use and zoning, development review and approval, the municipal utilities and services, imposition and collection of impact fees, as well as taxes, home rule and police powers, and law enforcement and fire protection. The agreement also has the town of Oakland taking over that small portion of right-of-way, so they will be responsible for the long-term maintenance of that. The agreement has already been approved and signed by the town of Oakland, and staff would recommend approval to the board.
Questions from the commission?
No, just nice work with the city manager and the director. That's a good piece of work. Good job.
Need a motion?
Motion to approve the interlock agreement between the Winter Garden and town of Oakland.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Recommendation to approve code enforcement lien reduction. Yes, sir.
The owner of 621 Lost Grove Circle incurred code enforcement liens starting in 2018 for structures that were built without permits. $250 per day per violation. As of December 7th, when I last looked at this and done the report, the lien was $332,000. The owner of the property now is in the back of the room. She went through a divorce. Her ex-husband has built those structures. She was unaware that permits were not there until she tried to go back and refinance the home after the divorce was finalized. She has since hired an engineer, pulled permits. The inspections have been done and approved by the city. Staff would recommend that we reduce and remove the lien and require a $1,500 fine, which covers all city expenses if it's paid by the end of this month, February 28th. 544 square foot office building with warehouse space. Development also includes parking and landscape improvements. The use is consistent with the surrounding area and also allowed in the I-2 zoning district. Plans have been reviewed and approved by the Development Review Committee, and staff will recommend approval subject to the DRC report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission?
Appreciate you, Ms. Jones, investing in our community and continuing to build. Thank you.
Questions? Comments? We need a motion.
Motion to approve the site plan for 571 Susan B. Brick Court.
Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Site plan for 16173 Marsh Road. Yes, sir.
Site plan review for 16173 Marsh Road. This site plan includes a 9,068 square foot church with 216 seats. There is landscaping, parking, as well as other site improvements. This church was previously located on the property to the east. They have since subdivided the land, gone through a lot split process, sold that to another company which operates the exact same things they were approved for, except the church, which is a daycare facility that comes under all of the same regulations and restrictions. So they now want to build this new church on the second property, which was always intended for a second phase of the church, and it's always been approved that way. So a community meeting was held, and the neighbors were on board of it because the back area remains open space. It wasn't intended to be developed at this time. Again, the plans have been reviewed and approved by the Development Review Committee, and staff would recommend approval subject to those conditions.
Have they given any indication on what they plan or timetable plan to build in the back? You know, that currently would be left undeveloped?
It's gonna be left undeveloped for probably years to come. They have no intention right now of going back.
Okay, that's what I wanted to have any intentions. Now we're doing it now. Okay. Any other questions from the commission? We need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the site plan for 16173 Marsh Road with staff recommendations.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay. Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, sir. Recommendation to approve purchase of one new mobile bypass pump package from Trade Winds. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm requesting approval to purchase a new mobile bypass pump. This is used by various public services departments from the Trade Winds Power Corporation. Purchase is a piggyback of Florida Sheriff Association, Florida Association of Counties contract. Was an anticipated purchase. We do have funding in the current budget. Be glad to answer any questions.
I'll once again do the one generic question. All of the projects, equipment you're asking for, they were all, I believe all of them were in or
Yes, it is
in the
current
past budget. So in that, the funds that we had set aside in the budget exceed the funds you're asking for now
Yes,
in all
this
these
is actually
projects,
under budget.
not vice versa. Okay, so every one of these are underneath what we've asked for in the budget.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to ask it one time. Thank you. Questions from the commission?
Appreciate you providing pictures of that. I kind of wondered what it was. Thank you.
I had to ask about what all the capabilities, and it has
It's multi-use for multiple departments.
yeah. So, any questions? We need a motion.
Motion to approve, $115,699, the mobile bypass pump package from Trade Winds.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried unanimously. Recommendation approved, waiving formal procurement process for construction, supporting infrastructure to Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Sir.
This is a request to waive the formal procurement process and award the construction of the infrastructure to support the Winter Garden Police Annex Building located on the northwest corner of 10th and Center to T.D. Thompson Construction Company, Inc. The infrastructure to be constructed at the Police Annex Building is proposed to be 5 on-site parking spaces, including 1 disabled parking space, 5 on-street parallel parking spaces along 10th, sidewalks to access the facility, and utility connections for occupancy. This item is not included in the current operating budget, but will be added at the interim. Staff would recommend waiving the formal procurement process and award the construction of the supporting infrastructure to T.D. Thompson Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $114,707.89, which includes a 10% contingency. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, sir.
There's a slight modification to the plan for the 5 on-street parallel parking spaces. We're going to eliminate them from this project. And as the property develops to the north, we will look at adding them if the need does exist at that time. The right-of-way on 10th Street is extremely narrow, and so we're going to just have this, keep the sidewalk obviously, but remove the parallel parking spaces.
Okay.
City manager, so yeah, I'll go with this one, city manager, so in the last couple of meetings, we've, waived the formal procurement process on multiple items, we got some here, kind of know how I feel about that, you want to walk us through that for a moment of why it's necessary to do these things and what we gain by that?
Obviously, in this particular case, we know that the building has been delivered and we're trying to get it up and operational as fast as we possibly can. On the agenda later on tonight, you have the request to award contracts under a push button contract. Going forward, if this project would have came forward at that time, we would have made the recommendation to award under the push button contracts. So in the interest of time for this particular one, we felt like it was important to move forward. We've also had some of the vendors that we've obtained quotes back during the original budget process that are holding their costs for us. So that's one of the reasons why we're requesting to waive some of the formal procurement process, specifically with the manhole rehab that's on the agenda later tonight. And with the lift station control panels, we have flight panels now, flight pumps now. So we don't want to go out, solicit a proposal, get a little bit from a company that produces a totally different control panel that exists there today. So we're requesting to waive the formal procurement process for that. That kind of covers all of it. So
It does, sir, and thank you very much for that.
You sound like a machine.
rehearsing that.
Put that down next to Bill. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Okay, we need a motion.
Make a motion we approve the $114,707.89 with a 10% contingency for T.D. Thompson.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second. Sorry.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Nice to get this project completed there. Yes, sir. Recommendation to approve rankings awarding continuing service contract for infrastructure improvements. Yes, sir.
This is a request for approval of the rankings for RFP 21-001, which submittals received for the annual construction service contract for infrastructure improvements. On November 9th, 2021, the city received 8 responses to the request for proposal for construction services for the annual construction service contract for infrastructure improvements. Based on a review by the proposal committee, it was determined that all of the submitters were considered responsible proposers. The following proposers are listed below. They are Cathcart Construction Company, Florida, LLC, Central Florida Environmental Corporation, Dale Beasley Construction Company, LLC, Flowtech Environmental, LLC, HK Solutions Group, Schuler Constructions, Inc., Shenandoah General Constructions, LLC, T.D. Thompson Construction Company, Incorporated. Staff would recommend approving RFP 21-001, rankings and awarding continuing service contracts for infrastructure improvements to the aforementioned contractors. Somehow we haven't answered any questions.
Questions from the commission? How many did we send out? Did we get enough date responses?
Well, we broadcast the advertisement and anyone with the contractors.
Okay, so any of them we did?
Yeah, we did, 8 is a pretty good response.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And there are some that put bids in on certain items, not all of the items, so it may look like a long list, but not everybody specializes in everything that we ask for advertisement.
You know, we've experienced some delays in projects due to availability of contractors, so when we had this committee respond, we were very pleased, obviously, we felt like it was important to award it to everyone that way, hopefully we can avoid any delays on the projects done. The overall exhibit and the quantity of items I think we passed out was somewhere in the range of
635 items.
It was big bid.
That's a lot, but still getting 8, I thought was pretty good, so.
in seems like today's environment. So, good, okay. Any questions from the commission?
Just verifying that's Schuler Contractors Incorporated, correct?
Oh, did I misspeak?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we say that for the record.
Yeah, Schuler Contractors.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Motion to approve RFP 21-001 ranking of the warning continuing service contract.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
The next item is the,
Waiting formal procurement. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Good, that's right. Go ahead, sir.
The next item is a request to waive the formal procurement process and award the construction of 2 control panels for pump stations 23 and 47 to Xylem Water Solutions USA, Inc. and Reef Controls LLC. The control panels for both of these stations have deteriorated to the point where it is not feasible to repair them, and a complete replacement is required. These items were included in the current operating budget. Staff would recommend waiving the formal procurement process and award the construction and installation of 2 new control panels for pump stations 23 and 47 in the amount of $157,549. I would like to mention too, the budget item in the current budget is $217,761, so we're below. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission? Need a motion?
Make a motion to approve the $157,549 contract with staff recommendations.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Go ahead, I'll leave it.
The next item is a request to waive the formal procurement process and award the rehabilitation of 21 sanitary manholes to HydroClean LLC. The issue is the existing sanitary manholes have deteriorated due to the high concentration of hydrogen sulfide gas. The rehabilitation will consist of creating new walls inside the existing structures and then line those new walls with a hydrogen sulfide protective coating. Staff would recommend waiving the formal procurement process and award the rehabilitation of the existing 21 sanitary manholes to HydroClean LLC in the amount of $277,530, which includes a 10% contingency. This item was budgeted in 21-22, and that budgeted amount was $301,300. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
So how long will these last?
These, it should last more than 20 years. Yeah, with the new walls interior, that's a brand new structure. And then the lining, which keeps the hydrogen sulfide gas from getting to the concrete, which softens it and makes it deteriorate. The combination of the two should probably outlast the 20-year service life.
I thought your system will outlast me.
As a point of reference, Mayor, these manholes run from Plant Street all the way down Lulu, across Division, towards the plant, towards the wastewater treatment. So, we refer to it as trunk line.
Okay, up on that.
Nothing worse than a manhole that goes bad. I'm glad you're being real about it.
Okay, any other questions? Need a motion?
Motion to approve HydroClean LLC to rehabilitate 21 sanitary sewers for $277,530.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
The next item is a request for execution of a railroad reimbursement agreement, grade crossing traffic control devices for the crossing at railroad milepost number 133. That is on East Plant Street, just east of Northwest Crown Point Road. The issue is the Florida Department of Transportation proposes safety improvements by installing 2 pedestrian gates and LED lights at the East Plant Railroad crossing. This agreement between the city and FDOT states that the city is responsible for 50% of the additional maintenance costs on these improvements. As just for reference, in 2021, the city paid an annual maintenance cost of $3,600 for the entire crossing. So staff would recommend signing the agreement for the additional maintenance cost for the improvements at the railroad crossing on East Plant Street. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Is that in case the train comes by?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how many we get a year there, but.
Kind of frightened me when.
With the West Orange Health, they added sidewalks and a trail. Then with the apartments, they also added sidewalks so that it's necessary now for
Yeah.
pedestrians walking in that
I
area.
could tell you, I saw.
I do want to also mention there is a resolution in that package, 22-01, that will need execution as well.
Do you have that, Kurt?
It was part of the package, it was overlooked.
So what he's looking at, so we're in a 50-50 agreement, do we have, I know what the cost was, do you have any idea what our cost went forward before we approved this?
No,
$39.
the $3,600 was the total
Okay, I
maintenance
just wanna make sure they
cost.
weren't gonna do something big, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, no, we're.
No, I would
returning the cost.
anticipate it would be much less than that for this additional.
That's actually going up to 3934.
Yeah, that's out.
39, 36.
Yeah.
All right.
Tim, can you give me yours?
Sure. Super.
Did you get it, Kurt?
Yeah.
I handed it to him earlier, I'm
I
sorry.
didn't
Go through it. It's got it, glad to read it.
It was part of it, I just wasn't sure if you.
That's okay.
Oh, you get it.
No, it wasn't there. It was part of
City
it.
resolution, grade crossing traffic control devices and future responsibility. This relates to, and it's called Resolution 22-01.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, so we got that title, so.
Oh, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
Mayor, let me proceed.
Okay.
A resolution authorizing execution of a railroad reimbursement agreement for the installation of grade crossing traffic control devices and future maintenance and adjustment of said devices, providing for the expenditure of funds and providing when this resolution shall take effect.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, any other questions from the commission?
Do we need to pass the resolution as well, or?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we do this one first and then the resolution?
No, it's part of, it's all together.
It's just all one time, yes.
Okay.
We just need a, motion to approve, these
Motion
two
to approve
resolutions.
the railroad reimbursement agreement and resolution 2201.
Okay. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Thank you, sir. Thank you. It is. I missed the resolution. Recommendation to approve agreement for acquisition of property. Mr. Williams, yes,
Mayor,
sir.
Commissioners, you have in front of you the contract that we're asking for authorization for the city manager to sign for acquiring 3,000 feet from the Diller Street property project on the Roper Groves, Roper family property at the northeast corner of Smith and Diller. The family has property over there and is anticipating after Dillard is completed that they will be looking to redevelop some of those properties. This looks like a very straightforward agreement that's similar to other ones. We're acquiring 3,000 square feet approximately at $20 a foot, $60,000. What it doesn't show you is the advantage of the city's policy for negotiating with property owners rather than condemning property. Because we didn't go through a condemnation process but negotiated with them, we ended up getting them to close 3 access points on the property. One on Smith, the other 2 fronting right on Dillard. It makes our project that much more better, makes the road project better. They are giving up substantial property rights by giving up those 3 accesses at no cost to the city. Had we had to go in and condemn the property, in addition to the attorney's fees and the expert fees for both sides and everything, you could be looking at $5,600,000 on this property for trying to close 3 access points on those 2 major roads. So the policy that the city files has been very beneficial to the taxpayers and to the city. We recommend that you authorize the city manager to sign.
Very good. Questions?
Just a comment, I want to thank Ed. I know you've been working many years on this.
This one has been a lot slower than Clan Street or a lot of the other ones we've done, but with the rising prices and everything that's going on, it's understandable.
With good results.
Very, very good. And I proved this other than condemnations.
And we appreciate the ropers
Yes.
going that extra step
Yes.
to participate and go up above and beyond.
We do. We thank them for that.
So all of that eloquently that you said, you're saving us money by you doing it instead of letting the attorney spend the money.
Well, the attorneys,
We're back up.
if we have to
When he gets it
go,
wrong,
if we have to go to court, I'd like Kurt on our side. He does very well there.
We need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the agreement for acquisition of property, and we need approval for the city manager to sign. Is that it? That's it?
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Recommendation to approve the special events. Yes, sir.
The first item is a special event for the Rook Walk for the American Legion. As you saw the presentation earlier, the event is proposed for Saturday, November 12th at Veterans Park before 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. It will follow the same route as years past. They will have tents for food, live music. They also serve beer and wine at this event. Staff would recommend approval of the event. As in years past, we would not have any application fee that would go along with this one. Be happy to answer your questions.
Same as in past, and I don't remember any issues with it, so it's a good event. Any questions?
Just a great event that we would celebrate our veterans and continue the good cause.
We need a motion. Do you want to say something? No. We need a motion.
Mark, you would do it?
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the special event for the Rock Walk.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Next request is a request from Crooked Can Brewery to hold their annual Celtic Fest. The event was originally proposed to be from Thursday, March 17th through Sunday, March 20th. But with discussions with them, they've changed it to be Thursday through Saturday. The event includes closing Central Avenue and extending the alcohol permit out there. Live music will be there, same as previous years. The event is on Thursday from 12 p.m. instead of 2 p.m. They've asked for an extra 2 hours until 11 p.m. Friday, March 18th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Saturday, March 19th from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. Live music stops at 9 p.m. just as it has in years past. I have always worked with them. I will continue to work with them along with Mr. Baker, who lives nearby. We always meet at his home and go over the volume, and they adjust it so that he's happy with everything and that everybody can hear everything. We've talked and we will do that again. Staff will recommend approval subject to the conditions.
Anyone go Sunday this year?
They had asked for 4 days, and that was, so 3 days. How about that?
That's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him more.
Whichever day, I did Thursday or Sunday. All right. Okay. But I think in the past, it had been 3 days or 2 days.
It's always been 3. It's
Okay,
been
I
Friday,
thought-
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I thought it'd been 3.
But because of
Yeah.
the actual meeting.
Okay. Any other questions? We need a motion.
Motion approved, the Celtic Festival for March 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, sir. Matters from citizens of Winter Garden.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Wolf. I live at 221 North Floyd Street. Regarding item, the first page, ordinance 2201 about the voting district boundaries, are they available to the citizens to view? the new boundaries.
You can actually download
Pardon me?
the agenda tonight, and they're on there.
All right, thank you. Now, I understand that you pushed the date back when they are gonna be approved, so is there a end date that we're looking at, or are we getting too close to that? What is the end date that this is required to be finished?
That would be December
That's before
December
next election.
7, 2022, so it has to be 120 days before the next local city election.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what I would understand, so.
All right, so these are being proposed now, but so we've got some lead time if there needs to be changes, that's what I'm understanding.
I'll speak for myself, I would certainly check my fellow commissioners afterwards to talk about the boundaries and stuff after.
And who do we make comments to, our commissioners, if we're interested in a change, or we're not?
All of us.
Yeah.
Any of you, all right, thank you so much.
Okay, anyone else? Matters from our city attorney,
Pass, Mayor.
city manager.
Just one item, Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, the modular building has been placed over at 10th and Center, and in order to keep that project going and to get power to the building, Duke Energy has requested an easement for execution by the mayor. If there's no objection to the commission, I would ask that we provide the mayor authorization to approve the easement so we can get power to the building.
Need that in form of motion?
Yeah, I think we have a motion for that.
Then make a motion, we authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Do we have a second? Okay. Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Nothing further.
Nothing else? Okay, sir. Commissioner Sherman? The list that long?
No, I think this is our first meeting in January, so our staff, the holiday events that we had were exceptional. I'm sure that everyone enjoyed them. It was throwing candy at the Christmas parade, the little light on the kids' faces. That's every year. It makes me smile. That's it.
Commissioner?
Yes, sir. Again, echo those things passed on to staff. Again, it was world-class. The holidays were just fantastic. Everything was great. The events were great. We had an event in my district. One of the neighborhoods wanted to shut down the street for New Year's Eve event. It was a big hit. The staff was incredibly accommodating and dropping off barriers and working with the residents, so really, really do appreciate that. I don't think we say that enough to staff and how smoothly things go, which makes our job easier. I did want to make one comment on one of the items that we approved in regular business, and City Manager John, feel free to jump in on this. We call it the Winter Garden Police Department Annex Building, and I think we did that for budgeting purposes, but I do want to get it on the record and make it clear that it's not a substation. It's going to be the police may have some community policing there, but it is going to be a resource center for the redevelopment of Winter Garden.
That is correct.
Okay, very good. Because there has been some talk and some
Communication.
controversy about that, so I wanted to clarify that. Thank you. Also, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Mueller?
Yeah, my list is longer, sorry. All right, Echo First, the holidays. Laura and her team, that was just fantastic. I thought this year's Christmas was just head and shoulders above what we've done in the past, and just continues to improve. So, and I know the park department worked day and night to pull all this together, so it was fabulous. I know we had an event, the first attempt at our golf cart parade. Chief Graham, you just did a fabulous job. You had some hard decisions to make on site that night. You made the right ones. You kept the public safe. You kept everything moving well, and all of us, we can't thank you enough for your leadership, your command, your officers who did a great job with it. So, kind of a Kissimmee officer too. We want to make sure we recognize his efforts as well. And then also want to thank Alex's team, the trash department. So you know, our garbage got picked up on Christmas Eve. It got picked up on New Year's Eve. Those folks worked, on the holidays and stuff to keep our city clean, keep things moving along. So I want to thank all them. And last but not least, here, and most importantly, Chad, I want to call you out for billing. As we talked about, we just approved another company to take over our utility billing and all that. Another company pulled out kind of last minute. As Director of Technology, you put together a fabulous system. It worked fine. How much did we pull in the first 5 days?
I recall, it's 150,000 over the first several days, 5 days or 6 days.
And how's it going overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think great. We've had a couple of just minor things, but those are to be expected. I think full steam ahead.
That's a great compliment for our technology team master, so thank you, Lord. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Well, I'll just echo the comments on all of our city staff and really the Christmas light up winter garden parade and continuing. You ride down Plant Street 2 nights ago, they were still, people still on Middle Street taking pictures. They were still at the photo stations taking pictures, so the job that was done, and then continuing to maintain this community. We just want to thank all of our staff, every one of them, for all the hard work that they do, and let them know it's, as always, very much appreciated. So with that, we will convene for our next recess on our city commission meeting.